G'day everyone. My name's Ebony Bennett. I'm Deputy Director at the Australia Institute. We really appreciate you all coming today. We're here to launch the release of our report, Grow Your Own, that we did in partnership with Grow It Local. First of all, you'll hear from the independent member for Mackellar, Sophie Scamps, to launch the report officially, followed by Australia's favourite gardener and national patron of Grow It Local, Costa Georgiades, Darryl Nichols, the co-founder of Grow It Local, and then I'll say something very brief about the report, and then we'll plant the parliamentary garden. Thanks very much, Sophie, for joining us. I'll hand over to you.
Well, you may know that in a previous life I was a GP, and one of the best things that you can do for your health and your mental health is get in the garden and particularly grow your own food. So it's good for your health, it's good for your hip pocket, and it's also great for the planet because it reduces those transport miles and it reduces plastic, and we know our oceans are clogging up with plastic. So this is a fantastic thing that you can do for yourself and your family, and it's fantastic to be here with you guys. I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness. So good fun. So apparently we're going to be planting a parliamentary garden. Can't wait to do that.
Thanks, Costa and Dad.
Look, 10 years ago, I was fortunate enough to be involved at the release of the report, which sort of stated all those things that we know as gardeners to be beneficial. But to have that data is critical, because if we're going to make this change, if we're going to bring the kind of budget support and the financial support to building more gardening into the community, it has to have the data and the information. And what I love about it is, it's all out there, but now in this report, and 10 years on, to have a 10-year on 10-year report backing it in even further. I mean, of course, physically, just people getting out and actively attending a garden, whether it's a windowsill, whether it's a garden, whether it's in a courtyard, the mental health benefits are there to be seen. I mean, the therapeutic benefits of being out in the garden, the fact that you grow hope, you plant these seeds, and then you hope that something will happen. You do homework, so there's the mental aspect of doing homework, and then you start to understand the seasonality. When you understand the seasonality, what the report shows is that as a result of people growing their own food, they start to understand what's in season. Then that ties in with food miles, and that whole idea that big food is just bringing food from all around the world, whereas this makes people understand that when things are in season, there's an abundance. When you grow a cucumber, you have cucumber, it's peak cucumber. Same with zucchini, you have peak zucchini. So there's that benefit. I think the other really important thing, and it's coming out across all of the report, is that this is developing a nature positivity in people. It's building an understanding of biodiversity, and with biodiversity comes all of those other threads and parallel universes, so that people start to understand beneficial insects. They then connect to Pollinator Week. If they connect to pollinators, they connect to the importance of these beneficial insects. Then there's no spray spring, and so with no spray spring, people understand that if I kill everything, we've got to rebuild. Then they understand the soil, the importance of soil and microbes and bacteria, and that all bacteria are not bad. So this builds this understanding of nature and a connection to nature, and then people can start to fall in love with nature, which is what we want. And then of course there's the waste issue. I saw this beautiful thing happen at a community garden where it was on a rooftop in King's Cross. They were growing food to provide food on a Thursday night for people that were living rust. And I remember that we planted out this garden, and the first crop of eggplant had come up, and I was meant to be there to see the harvest. And I arrived as they were walking downstairs with this harvest, and you would have thought that it was a G20 summit because everyone was around. There was security. There were 3 eggplants about this big being carted down with a reverence and with a passion and with a priority. And I think this is what it's all about. When people put a reverence on their food, it changes the whole nature of their outlook. And that's what I think the report is doing. It's giving validity to now 20 years of backing in that people growing food at home, this isn't just a hobby, it's not just a fad. This is a serious, community-driven, health-driven activity that can change the food system. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
So,
Darryl.
Sorry, Darryl. Sweet Darryl. Yes, I like it. Yes.
well, it's wonderful to meet you today. So, I mean, it's a start. The premise of Grow It Local is a mission to help educate, support, and inspire more Australians to grow, share, and to eat locally grown food. As you'll see in the report, there is great interest amongst the majority of the Australian people to want to learn how to grow food from those who are already doing it. But one of the key barriers that they talk about is a perceived lack of knowledge or skills. And at Grow It Local, we're all about trying to empower everyday Australians with the knowledge, the skills, the information they need to successfully grow food. At Grow It Local, you can come along and participate in free monthly live Learn to Grow workshops with people like Costa and Paul West. You can join our seasonal grow-alongs, where we are growing along with thousands of households all around Australia together as part of this unified community movement. And you can ask questions and get answers for any to help you overcome any problems or troubles you might be having in your patch. And I guess really, in many ways, further to what Costa said, growing food is just such a simple but powerful act. Grow food, save the world.
Yeah. Mike, next Darryl. Thank you, everyone. So we're really delighted to launch this report, Grow Your Own. As Darryl and Costa mentioned, we did our first report in partnership with Grow It Local way back in 2014. And what we've discovered is that around 45% of Australians, or around 9 million people, grow some of their own food in their garden all around the country, whether that's veggie patches in their backyard or on their windowsills. Australians love growing their own food, and they tell us that they like to do it because they want access to healthy food and because they think it helps them to save money, which of course we're all aware of in this cost of living crisis. And we know that amongst growers, they say that growing their own food makes them feel happy and healthy and connected to nature and relaxed. And what could be better heading into the Christmas season after such a massive year than growing your own food? And we do know that there are an enormous number of people right across Australia who aren't currently growing their own food but are really interested in doing so, mainly young people. And what they're lacking is sometimes the space to grow their own food, but also the knowledge and skills. And that's where community organisations like Grow It Local come in and provide an amazing service to the community. And the last thing that we know is that the Australia Institute research shows that Australians lose an estimated $20 billion to food waste every year. And people who grow their own food become much more aware of food waste and not wasting any of the food that they've grown. And around 2/3 of them have compost or a worm farm or both. And we know that if we calculate that across all the growers across Australia, that's diverting approximately 361,000 tonnes of food away from landfill every year. That's about the equivalent of 7 Sydney Harbour bridges of food diverted away from landfill every year. So it's an amazing service to the community. And everyone, I encourage you to check out the report.
Isn't it interesting that, like you talk about, like when you grow it, the chances of you having leftovers and just scrapping them after 3 days becomes non-existent, because you've put all this time and patience and love into the food. There's probably less leftovers because you're going to eat it when you've prepared it, because of the nutritional benefits and the flavour. And I think, this is a social science thing. This is connecting people to the science of nature, but it's putting it through the lens of the heart and saying, I'm growing it because I'm loving doing this. And then when I present that to my families, I'm giving them the most precious gift of something that I know exactly what impact that's had and what footprints it's left. And when we have that level of obligation and duty to ourselves, then I think we can see that growing food at home is so much more than just the produce.
And it's sharing food with other people and all of that kind of, the community aspect comes into it very quickly, you know, lots of creativity, cucumbers, share around.
Yeah, because even, you know, I mean, you go and sow a whole lot of cucumbers, there's so many options for you then to share a seedling, or you can share the produce, or, you know, once you've grown them, you can share them as a pickled granny skill. You know, this is something that was always done, because that goes back to what we were saying about seasonality, that we spread the cucumber season across 12 months, not just the 3 months when they're in such abundance, you start to look like a cucumber because you're eating so many. So those layers, that family inclusiveness, that we're getting children involved, and you see the nature of school gardens just growing from strength to strength, and then the community garden movement, all of these things are transferring that real acceptability that this is who we are.
And I want to say the only time one of my sons has willingly eaten a bean is when he picked it off one of our own bushes and crunched on it, and he loved it.
Yeah.
Ever since then, if I serve him up one that bought from the shop, he's unlikely to touch it. So there's something miraculous about growing your own.
And it tastes better.
I think there absolutely is, and I'm so thrilled to be here where we connect our head with our heart.
Yes.
And if you could indulge me with a little story about pickled cucumbers. I've got a very large veggie garden and absolutely love growing veggies. When this old world starts getting you down here in Canberra, I go to my veggie garden when I get home. The other thing I do is I very rarely accept an invitation on a Friday night anywhere, because I've got to stay home and watch garden in Australia. But last season I had the greatest profundity of cucumbers you've ever seen. Baskets of the damn things. We ate them fresh, we ate them pickled, we ate them in salad. We did the whole thing. And then the ladies from the CWA at Wodonga, who were putting up the preserves section of the show, said, "Helen, will you put in an entry?" I said, "Will I ever?" However, I didn't get the job done before I went to Canberra, so I had to bring the cucumbers to Canberra pickling set. So I was giving out fresh cucumbers, and then I pickled a whole lot of cucumbers. I entered them in the Wodonga show. I got a very political third prize. That's an encouragement prize. But I did hear in the Parliament that the Attorney General really liked pickled cucumbers, and he said, "Helen, I hear you got third prize at the Wodonga show. Do you reckon I can have a jar of your cucumbers?" Gave him a jar of cucumbers. A day later, I get a message from the Speaker of the House of Representatives. "I like pickled cucumbers too." So it's cucumber diplomacy.
I just get like it. It's only appropriate. These are actually pickles that my kids make. It's their pocket money project. It's called Nichols Pickles.
Love it.
The tastiest pickles in town. Costa often helps them pickle. We're neighbours, Blackbone and Bondi. So I'm sure they'd like you to me to present those to you. It's not recognised.
Now you've got more.
That's right, exactly.
And Sophie, for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But on a more serious note, I mean, further to Costa's comment, you know, gardening and growing food is something we often do individually on our own, in our own backyards, or in our own spaces. But collectively, the impact that we are having as a group of people involved in this activity is just huge. And it's often overlooked, but it's this long tail of backyard food production that's having a really tangible material impact, both for our planet, for our own health and well-being, and for that of our communities too. By way of example, whilst Grow Up Local is only somewhat of a small organisation, we have 40,000 members around Australia who are presently cultivating just on 7 million square metres across their own backyards, their balconies, their community gardens they're involved in, and their windowsill farms. And so I think it really, when you put that in context, it really reinforces the impact that we can have as a group of people involved in something so simple, but so...
Shall we plant the parliamentary
Let's plant
garden?
Yes. I'll be
Oh, thanks.
Right.
So, are we doing?
Yeah.
So I think we're going to put all the mints in here. So this is going to be a super contained mint garden that's going to go off. And then over here, we're going to plant some seeds. So it just sort of gives people the idea that nature didn't go to business school. Like, it gives you seeds for free every year. And when we understand that, and then when we save our seeds, then they become mungle to your area, a mungle to your climate each year that you save them. And so there's often hesitation about planting seed. You know, people go, I have to get a seedling. But once you start and you break that barrier, you'll grow seed and you will start to connect with a whole world of seed savers. And that's the next level, because then you get hold of these really rare and different varieties, not just the stock standard ones. So we thought, well, we'll plant a few seeds in this one, but then this one, they're pretty much set out. So if each of you want to just drop one of these, chop it out, drop it in.
I'll take the lot. Yeah, we're putting. Oh, right.
And then we'll put soil around it.
Yeah, it's a bit dry, Costa.
Yeah, these are the. Oh, we had trouble getting through security.
Oh, I can imagine. Are you a root teaser?
Show us what you do with the roots.
You can give them a little bit of a tease, because that's if there wasn't many roots showing, I'd leave it, but that's all right. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Put that on the edge.
A bit closer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next one, yeah. And that's the one here. Yeah. And then seeds. We're doing mint because this is the Minthalicious garden.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
We're going to be protecting these like our firstborn children.
I think we are. Where are we going to put them?
Windowsill garden.
Yeah,
I don't know whether you put that.
let's just move more to the other side of the, so we come out with a bit line. That's better, great.
Yes, look at that.
That's it.
It smells good. Can we put some more dirt around it?
Yeah, why not?
Saucer.
Actually,
Over there.
See it. Oh, that's actually a soil.
Oh, is it? See there?
Yeah, it is.
Good timing.